Bow your heads with me, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we're so thankful for the many blessings you have granted and also for your peace in the midst of all circumstances. We know we can count on you when our decisions are sometimes difficult and for an answer when we selfishly ask why. We pray for your guidance in our decisions today, that they will be made according to your will for the Cherokee people. And we especially ask, Father, for your blessings on the victims and families of the Virginia Tech tragedy. May they be assisted in their need and give them hope for the future. We also ask your blessing for the sick and suffering, especially the elderly. We pray for world leaders that they seek a world of peace for all and for an end to bloodshed everywhere, especially in Iraq and Afghanistan. Bless each person here today and protect them on their journey home. We ask that you calm our fears and stir up our faith in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Speaker. Roll call.
Chuck Hopkins. John Rodden. Joe England.
Here.
Bill John Baker.
Here.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Audra Connor. Joe Crittenden.
Here.
Mary Traley. Here. Bill John. Taylor King.
Here.
John Keener. Jacob Bob Martin. David Thornton. Carrie Karen Watts. Phyllis Yarden.
Okay, we do have a quorum and we can do business. Next, we need approval of the minutes. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right. Approval of Terrell certifications.
That's Shelley's misprint. That's not mine.
Okay.
What are you looking at?
Send mine. So, mistake?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. I just read what's here. Well, we're wasting a couple seconds. We'll make up for it. Talking ladies, Diane Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll be very brief. Job Corps, we were in Dallas last week, or week before last, I guess it was, and there's a lot of changes going on. We have our new national director is emphasizing more into the academic piece of it with the math and reading gains on our placements for our students. Our OBS, we're one of 4 centers in our region that's carrying the OBS we have for the last 6 months, thanks to J. Littlejohn and his staff. We did get accolades for that. We also received a plaque, and I think it'll be presented at the next council meeting. We had students who went down to Shreveport and New Orleans who worked on houses down there for Habitat for Humanity. Jerry Cavness, who is from Adair County, he's our HBI instructor for electrical trades. He and his students went down not once but twice and worked on houses. They showed us a Job Corps Habitat Blitz. We were given a big, huge banner that had pictures of the students and the instructor. They gave these out to all the centers, and they gave us this nice plaque from Habitat and Home Builders. Joyce Rose, who many of you all know has been on the center for many years. She's in just about every club in town. She's going to be recognized by the Tahlequah Chamber in May for the Jack Kaufman Award, which is the Community Service Award honoree. And of course, Joyce says I couldn't do things without all these students over here at Job Corps, because when she puts down to do these things, she's usually got 3 or 4 students right behind her working on stuff. So Joyce will be recognized in May. We've got staff that will be traveling to Denver for a training session, and then we've also got some that will be going for summer break. We've got a review coming up September the 10th through the 14th, and this is the last leg of our 5-year contract. We go on a 5-year contract, and these are option years. We have to submit a 5-year plan. They'll let us know at the end of that review in September whether or not we're designated for another 5 years. And then we are right now the only center in the 14 states of our region that can certify on work keys testing. And that's because of Stephanie Isaacs and her staff over at Career Services. They go over and test the students. None of the other Job Corps have a certification certificate through the state, and that's thanks to Sandy Garrett and our relationship with her. We hired, I can't think of his first name, but I can tell you his last name, a Kingfisher, to work in our prior Catoosa office as an employment training counselor. I know there's many Kingfishers. You're probably wondering which one it is, but it's not the one in Health. He's probably some relation to him. But we have an employment training counselor that will be up there working with Charles Tucker and Alan Colbert. Alan is still out on FMLA with his heart. We think he'll be back within the next 2 weeks. We're hoping he will be. We also hired a GED teacher that will be working in prior Catoosa full-time, and her last name is Christie. And she's also from Mays County. So we're getting some of those offices a little bit more staffed than what they were before.
Have a question?
Yeah, on that, can you make sure that all of Alan's phone and email have an auto reply or something on them? Do they have that?
There's a receptionist there in the office.
I think people are, do they check his messages and stuff then?
Larry Ketcher was up there last week. Larry's been going in there every week to
So
check.
they'll check his email and his voicemails and such? I just want to make sure, because there have been some delays, but I think it was right when everything happened initially.
Anytime that you have people that go to a field office, if for some reason there may not be somebody there, or if they've got to sign up, people are out because people do get sick, because in these field offices there's sometimes only 2 people that man them on a regular basis. They can call our office here, which is 453-5555, and that's our direct line to our receptionist, Tammy Beaver. And she can get that information wherever it needs to go. And there should be signs up on all those offices, especially at Catoosa and Veneta. Is there any questions?
Okay, if there's no question, we appreciate that
Thank
good
you.
report. And Kelly. Our next report is Executive Director's Report, Dr. Neil Martin from Adair County.
Thank you very much. I just have good news to report, so we'll run through it rather quickly.
That's the kind of news we like.
We're still involved in a school visitation program. I have a schedule of the schools where we will be the rest of this week, and we will wind up visits to every high school in the 14-county area on Friday of this week. Now, those have been whirlwind tours, as you can tell from this schedule, which I'm getting ready to distribute. Those tours are made basically for the purpose of establishing a contact with each public school, so that when we have not only the higher ed scholarship program, but other programs which education sponsors, we can get that contact, get in touch with that contact, and get that message out. So when you see this schedule that I'm going to distribute, it says now on tomorrow that we're going to be at Fort Gibson at 8:30 and Briggs at 9:30 and Forum at 11, Warner at 12, Hilldale at 2, and Muskogee at 3. Obviously, we're not going to sit down and visit a long time, but then we're going to follow up. Now, while that group is working with the high school groups, we also have a small group working with the grade school groups. I'm going along and following up on grade schools. I made Kenwood and Wycliffe on Friday, and I'm trying to make about 2 per week, primarily in the most heavily Cherokee populated K-8 schools, because when we really get down to business, that's where we need to work, because we can do so much at an early stage than we can at a later stage. Now, since that is primarily, at this point at least, for higher ed, I want to talk to you just very briefly about the higher ed program. We are changing the higher ed program from a money disbursement center to a college counseling center. Our main purpose in the past few years has been to receive applications, react to those applications, disperse checks to colleges, and we have had minimal contact with students and minimal counseling with students concerning other scholarship opportunities that may exist beyond the Cherokee Nation Scholarship. So that is the new direction in the higher ed office. Dale Miller, who has been director of higher ed, requested a transfer to Sequoia High School. He was at Sequoia before he came to higher ed. They have a need there for a driver's ed instructor and some other duties because of illness of an individual at Sequoia. Dale is fully certified in driver's ed, so he requested that assignment. In the interim basis, Nita Wilson is coordinating her efforts in the higher ed program. So we will be moving to higher ed counseling center as opposed to just a disbursement of money. Now, for your information, we have 135 new applications that have been completed and stamped as completed, and we have 126 that still lack information. Now, this is about par for the course. Our big rush won't start until those continuing students get their transcripts, and that's when we'll have the long lines. But this year we plan to be ready for them. Trail of Tears Award is tomorrow? No,
Thursday.
Thursday.
The 19th.
The day after tomorrow. Thursday the 19th at Crown Plaza in Tulsa. And I have a note here that Reba Bruner needs a list of tribal council members planning to attend so that she can add them to the list of people for whom parking fees will be paid. So if you plan to attend the annual awards program, which begins at 10 a.m. Thursday. 10 a.m. Thursday at Crown Plaza, downtown Tulsa.
And this is applicable to the parking garage.
Need to get that information to Reba Bruner. I would like to report that the immersion program entered the 5th Oklahoma Native American Youth Language Fair at the Sam Noble Center in Norman, April the 5th. They swept the contest in both the group presentations and significantly in the individuals. First place in the individual music and division went to a first grader, Cree Drowning Bear, daughter of Charlene and Greg Drowning Bear, and they're involved in our language immersion program at NSU. Second place went to Shelby Turtle, whose parents are Jeff and Lisa Trice Turtle. And then the group music and dance division, second place went to the preschool group. The first place went to the first grade group in the spoken language division. Second place went to the pre-kindergarten group. And third place, now this is all in the spoken language, is the kindergarten students, and they swept the whole thing. In fact, I think that the greatest award, other than the language, was that the group running the event asked our sponsors for the evening event if we would not mind being last, because ours were so well behaved that they wanted to get the others out first. So we agreed to be last, and we swept it. Valedictorian and salutatorian awards, those checks will be ready, Nita, probably next week. Mm-hmm. We will contact all of the schools and get their schedules for their awards assemblies and so forth, so that those of you who have recipients in your areas, your districts, may wish to present those awards. It did not go quite as great as we thought it would. We thought there would be more. We sent notices to every high school in the area, plus all of the high schools in the counties bordering the area. We followed up after the deadline on April the 10th by calling each school that had not responded, just to make sure we hadn't lost any. There will be some come in later in spite of everything. If it is, we'll take care of it. We had 40 valedictorians in the area, 17 salutatorians. We sent notices to 162 high schools. And I have the list right here that will give the school and the name of the students in case you should wish to send them congratulatory letters or whatever. And we will notify you concerning the awards assemblies or however the schools choose to make the presentation, so that if it was appropriate for your schedules for you to attend. And Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report. I'd be happy to attempt to answer questions concerning educational programming. There are several reports following that will cover the bulk of the...
All right, thank you very much. Oh, we got a question.
Dr. Moore's question, this Cedarville, is that school in Arkansas, or is there another school that I don't know about?
That's Arkansas.
Okay.
Right. That's, the Cedarville is out of the 14 county area. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Martin. Next, Head Start, Berna Thompson. I guess she's from Cherokee County.
Lost City, America.
All right.
Good morning. I'm going to yield to Diane Woodard, the Senior Program Specialist over the Education domain of Head Start. She's required to inform you of the National Reporting System results every year, so she has those for you. Julie.
Good morning. This is the second quarter reporting, and in June, the end of June or so, we'll have the whole year report that we received last year. So basically what we are legislatively mandated to report is 3 times a year we collect information, ongoing assessment information of our 3 and 4-year-olds. Specifically, the 4-year-olds were required to collect this information, but since we enroll 3-year-olds, also, they get an introduction and awareness to, there are 13 items that we are required to report on, and you'll see those across the top of the page. And if you think about where we were in Head Start, even in 2002, before the outcomes became required to report on, we taught these concepts before, but now, since we are required to collect information, you'll see all of the schools that we operate ourselves or are in partnership with in public schools. And so this is their numbers, their enrollment, and their averages for those children. It's a range of 1 to 5, with 5 being a mastery of that level or that criteria. And if you see 1s and 2s in there, those classes might be either first-year students, it might be 3-year-olds. Generally, our 4-year-olds, our second-year students are the ones who come and could probably teach the class. So this is just showing us kind of where, number-wise, that group of children fell. But what it really says to us as a program is that it gives us an idea of where we are as far as staff development that we need to take a look at. It's an ongoing assessment. This is the biggest part of our ongoing assessment, especially for looking at where the children are, their accomplishments, and then what does it mean as far as our teaching strategies and methodologies. What do we take a look at as far as these specific items? it provides us a framework as far as what we teach in Head Start. In addition to our Cherokee language efforts, the awareness efforts that we use, working with the parents, the health screenings, the comprehensive services. So this is just a part of it. Like I said, we are required to report this information. So this is just one tool that we use as far as setting up our preschool classrooms. The other one that we have is still in that consideration is looking at an assessment called the National Reporting System. And this one takes a look at specific items along the lines of those 13 items. And this one, all the Head Start programs across the country have this assessment. And we have trained evaluators who go out to each of the schools and conduct this assessment. And if you think about in elementary school, when you do the ITDS, that's still in use, this is Head Start's version of that. It's the same assessment. The first one, they give us the framework and say, collect this information, but they don't tell us how. It's up to individual programs, and that's what we've put in place with this legal size sheet. The one that you're getting now with the blue is a standardized assessment that if you look out on the left side of the page where it gives our numbers compared to the national scores, and you'll see that we at least meet them or exceed them. Again, looking at a lot of factors as far as are they first-year students coming into our Head Start program, are they second-year students, but it also drives our staff development, thinking about do we need to take a look at our classroom setup? Are we looking at instructional methods again? So like I said, all of this in addition to the other areas that we teach. So this is reporting on these specific areas as far as our outcomes. And in preparation for our review next year, then taking a look at where are we and that we are reporting this information as we're required. Got any questions?
Any questions?
Thank you. Diane, what kind of testing do you do on those that are below this age level?
That's where we go with individualized instruction. That's where if the scores show that child needs assistance in specialized areas, that's where we provide a whole other set of documentation that we're working with those parents, with those children individually. So it is individualized instruction.
So the teacher themselves develop a test? I don't understand what you mean by...
There's no further testing. That gives us that gives us an idea of where we are. That's if the child isn't at that skill level, then we develop activities based on those skills. So it's like supporting that learner through that process. If it's developmental, if there's other referrals or other services that we can provide, that's what we take a look at for individual children.
Okay. So there's not a test that they all take that's a standardized test. It's a teacher-made test or observation that are below this age I'm talking about.
Oh, for early Head Start? No, there's not. We do a an ongoing developmental assessment for them. It parallels this, but it's not as far as early literacy skills are a little bit different for infants and toddlers versus what they offer preschoolers.
So you're not required to report in this manner early.
Right. But we are still mandated to collect information, and we do have that, but it doesn't come out because of the school readiness information that we have to provide. That's where this all comes from.
Do you have speech and hearing specialists or language development work with your earlier groups?
If we identify that if a particular child has needs in the area, yes, we do. But otherwise,
how do you identify that though if they have needs?
It's a whole monitoring system where it's teacher input. It is things like screening tools. It is parent concerns. If we are made aware of parent concerns, then we can make referrals to specialists who deal with infants and toddlers.
So what about if the parents are not concerned, but there's a concern on the teacher as far as developmental language? And I'm talking about, I see this, but I'm talking about the earlier, those that are younger than this that you're mandated to test.
We have a whole series of that parent-teacher conferences that are set up and have visits, and that way we address with the parents, say that these are the things that we're seeing. We've implemented this year also, talking about developmental screening. We do one, and we send one to the parents to complete also, to kind of get them aware of where their child should be. Typically where a child is developmentally at anywhere up to 36 months. For that age group, that's where we're going with those assessments. So if the parent still says, and there's a lot of cultural influences that fall into that also, because if say the grandparent says no, they don't need speech, but the parent is, we work with the whole family to decide where that referral needs to go. And it's certainly up to the parent still, with their permission, to send for further evaluation. We do have those options.
Are the parents I know they have to give the permission, but I'm just curious about the teacher's ability to assess what's developmentally delayed or appropriate, or whatever the term is now. It's been a while since I've been in early Head Start or childhood. So how are the parents and how are the teachers qualified to make a statement that this child is developmentally delayed in this area?
Our teachers are trained in typical development. So if we start there and say, usually a child at 2 months of age, here's their speech development. If there are things beyond that, then we make, if the teacher has concerns or questions, then we take it to a professional person and we have what's called a mental health consultant who is trained to do those developmental assessments.
Each of the centers then?
Yes, and usually they're within those counties. So that's how we approach that. But again, that's all parent permission also. So if the parents don't approve, then we work with them, then that individualized approach, and that's how we work with them.
How often does that occur where the teacher might mention to the parent that you think your child is delayed in whatever? How often are they required to bring that up to the parent? Every month or every week or every 3 months, or if they see something that they think is not developmentally appropriate?
With the new assessment schedule we've started, it is about every 2 to 3 months they do a new assessment. So it turnaround's very quick. So we look at a 2-month-old and a 4-month-old, they grow very quickly. So those schedules are set, and it is very quick, like 2 to 4 months apart.
Can I ask you, and I know this is getting off the subject, it's not testing, but I'm curious about policy for behavior of children. If you have some that are biting or hitting or doing other things to each other that could be hurtful, what's the policy on a child that might continually bite? Or
we have adopted and sent through all of our advice groups a policy just this year for behavior intervention when a child is either a danger to themselves, a danger to the other children, a danger to the staff even, that there's a whole series of steps to go through to say, is Head Start the best placement for this child? And again, it's referrals, it is the parents play a part in that. Are they doing the follow-ups? Are they going for the counseling or whatever the steps that are determined are? And then we go through that whole process to determine, is Head Start the best placement? There are some situations where our staff aren't trained to deal with particular situations, and with taking all of that into account, that's where we determine, is Head Start the best placement.
When does that finally does the teacher make that decision if Head Start is not the best place for them, or who does that go to?
It's a team approach based on what our mental health consultant makes certainly plays a part in. Once they do the assessment, a developmental assessment, if they say, hey, let's have a medical doctor take a look at this child also to make sure it's not some other physical problem that we can deal with medications or whatever, and then it comes back and we as a team decide, administrative staff, and following the policy, have we taken all the steps, have the parents done what they need to do? It is quite a process.
What happens when a child, what happens if a child bites someone and it's repeated? It's like, this particular child bites someone every week, or, I mean, how often does they have, are the teachers required to report something like that?
They are. They do actually report to the parents, but we also then take that into consideration and make our mental health consultant aware of that. And so that child is most likely in that system, in that process of steps to say, here's the referrals and what are they looking like before we make that final determination. Thank you.
They still shoot paper wads at it.
Not yet at this age.
Too early for them. Thank you, Diane,
Thank
for that
you.
report. Diana, thank you. JOM, Dr. Shelley Butler Allen, Cherokee County.
You bet. Good afternoon, or good morning, good afternoon. As my tongue hangs out and we go on for the next activity. I wanted to let you all know that the 2007 Oklahoma Johnson O'Malley Conference was very successful. Of course, we were the host tribe this year. We had between 400 and 450 conference participants, and we've already received our overall conference evaluations back from the committee, and very successful. We had excellent keynote speakers, excellent workshops, excellent entertainment. I mean, everything ran very, very smoothly, and that I was pleased with. Thank you very much, Phyllis, for being a very integral part of our conference. She was there throughout the whole conference and even did a workshop for us. So, very, very pleased. So, we didn't have as many counselors attend the banquet. And that's where we need you guys. And I think I got on my hands and knees and I begged you all, since we were the host tribe. But I know everyone is busy. So, following up with that, we are going to have our 2006-2007 Cherokee Cultural Competitions Awards reception. This year we are not going to do a formal banquet like we normally do in the Tulsa area. We have to find a facility that can at least accommodate 1,000 plus students and parents. We were unable to do that this year, so it's going to be a little bit more relaxed and informal this year. It is going to be a reception versus a banquet, not a sit-down dinner. We are going to have it in, I might as well pass these out. There you go. A place where you play, which is the Sequoia High School Gymnasium. And all of the award winners, or competition winners, are going to be down on the gymnasium floor, and the rest of us are going to be up on the second layer, the second floor. So there are some typos here. The date is going to be Thursday, May the 3rd at 10 a.m. We're going to get kids, schools in and out 10 to noon, 10 to 12. There will be, as I said, it's a reception, so we will be having finger foods, veggie trays, fruit trays, and things for people to nibble and notch on before they go home. But we're going to do the presentations. The kids are there to get their certificates and their plaques and their monies, their incentive award monies. So I would like to invite you all to that. This is kind of a visual reminder. We did just complete the past couple of weeks. For the first 2 weeks in April, we conducted our Cherokee Challenge Bowl with great success. We had a lot of happy winners in our pool plays. And currently we are preparing for and gearing up for the Cherokee Nation Youth Leadership Institute Retracing Cherokee Footsteps, which is a 2-week journey into Tennessee, Georgia, and North Carolina. We currently have 56 students that are eligible to attend. Well, they're eligible right now, but we are going to only take 48 students on the journey and 12 sponsors. So, and that will be the first 2 weeks in June. And so we're just busy. We're very, very, very overcrowded. We have 2 support help from programs at Cherokee Nation, and we're just like little sardines trying to work and do our job with everything everywhere. So I'm just saying that to pass it on, because I think I'm going to be requesting more room, more space for our program in the near future. And I think that's it. Any questions?
Got a question.
Thank you,
Colonel
Mr.
Watts.
Chair. I have parents that have concerns, and I have JRM counselors that have concerns in Rogers County, so what's the appropriate way of having those addressed?
I would prefer to field myself first. I'm first in command, and then Neil. If there's no resolve with issues, then it goes to Neil. Dr. Morton, I'm sorry. So, and I'd like to speak with you about those too. So, yeah.
Any more questions? I think I heard about 7 excellence there when she started, and that was excellent presentations. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next, the big high school on the hill, Sequoia High School. Gina Stanley, welcome.
Thank you. Well, I just want to remind everybody, I know we've had to change it a few times, but we had some dignitaries that were not going to be able to be there for the celebration, so we've decided, tornadoes, rain, whatever, we're going to have that basketball celebration on the 24th regardless. So it'll be at 1:30 starting at the school, and then we'll be at the town square by around 3:30. So we'd really appreciate any or all of you being there if you can, please. And then on May 1st, they will be at the Capitol, and once we get confirmations on time and everything, they will be presented citations on the floor of both the House and the Senate. I'll let Ms. Miller know, and she can let you guys know, because we'd love to have you there as well. And also to invite you to Baccalaureate, which is on the 16th at 6:30, and you'll get an official invitation to that as well, and then graduation on the 18th at 6:30. We'd love to have you all come to any of those things if you could possibly make it to, because I know you've all got constituents in your areas that will be graduating. We're in the process of beginning, which we've been having some safety meetings anyway, but in light of what happened at Virginia Tech yesterday, we are having a formal assessment from the Marshal Service again, which we've done in the past, just to update us and see where we're at in terms of our preparedness in light of a similar type of emergency. So they'll be on campus all this afternoon, and then we are having in-service for parents and folks at our parent-teacher conferences coming up Thursday night and Friday. So we have had engineers on campus from BIA. Their purpose for being here is to evaluate where we're at in terms of items that need to be corrected or repaired for minor improvements, and then also to look at backlog items that go on our FI&R projects. So they've been on campus for a week. We did our exit meeting this morning, and they were just extremely impressed with our campus. Had some great kudos for our facility staff on what a good job they do. So that was a good pat on the back for Larry and his group, and they do an outstanding job. I'm really proud of how they accomplish things and get things done, and they do certainly take the spirit of Gadoogie to heart, because they're out there trying to do everything they can for any program that asks for assistance in any way, and I really appreciate them. We've also completed the track bleachers, so next week, Monday and Tuesday, we'll have folks from Albuquerque out to do a final inspection on those to issue a certificate of occupancy for the bleachers and the gym. We had a temporary one that expired in the middle of March, so they're coming out to do the final because we had some things that we needed to correct and work on. And we are having a series of meetings with our architect to close out things and get our final punch list items taken care of on the gym. So those have been some ongoing things that we've been working on. In just a second, to brag about our students, we've got 3 confirmed Gates Millennium Scholars, and we find out each day, we're still finding out that we've got some. I think we had 8 finalists, which is awesome. We have 2 students that received the Student of Today award, and that's from the Masonic Lodge. We have a student that won the state low-tech essay contest, and so she goes on to compete nationally. She'll be at Florida to compete in that. Our cheerleaders competed in Dallas. It's the NCAA Six Flags Over Texas Championship, and they won 2nd in the co-ed division, which is really awesome. And then we have a student who was named, probably not hard to guess who she is, but she's the Oklahoma Gatorade Player of the Year, and she's going on to compete for the National Gatorade Player of the Year, and that's Angel Goodrich. And then we've also got a young man who is Nathan Stanley. He's been named a preseason All-American. went Saturday for his interview for that at Oklahoma State. He's the only quarterback in the state that was nominated as a preseason All-American. So if he advances on, I think that'll be easy to say. He'll be our first Native American kid that's made it to that level, which will be awesome. If he makes it and becomes an All-American, he'll get to play in the U.S. Army All-American Bowl in January in I think it's in San Antonio. So everybody hold some dates open and see him come out if he makes it to that level. One of the things that they were real fascinated about in the interview, he mentioned to him that he was Cherokee, and the gentleman that interviewed him was from Chicago, and he was just amazed. I mean, he said, I don't know why that's amazing to me, but he said we want to know everything about him, so he had to go in and give him a little bit of a background on Cherokee Nation and where we were located, and they're going to actually try to come out to Cherokee Nation in May and just drop in and do a visit. So that's pretty neat. And he also was asked if he would be willing to be involved in a reality show. They do a reality show. He's somehow tied to Generation Next, which I don't watch TV much, so I don't even know what that is, but they're doing one on recruits. They've already selected their 5 players, but one young man's possibility that he's going to have to drop out, and if he did, Nathan's their backup. They'd like to be involved, and I think they were just enamored with the fact that he was Cherokee. He's also the #1 quarterback in the state of Oklahoma, #1 quarterback recruit according to Rivals.com and the Daily Oklahoman. So we're pretty proud of him and Angel. Angel's going on to do quite a bit of things this summer. Both of them are going to be very involved in recruitment efforts and things, so we're trying to support them every way we can. We began the planning and design for the library expansion and the classroom addition that we'll have. We'll be adding 3 additional classrooms. So we're beginning preliminary meetings, and we're working on the development of a new master plan for the school. And it's definitely time, the addition of the gym and the bleachers and the things that we've gone on, it's time to develop a master plan and kind of look at where we're going to be within the next 10 years in terms of buildings and that type of thing. We're going to be to the point before long that we're going to have to start building up because we're about to use up all of the space that's in our area. So we're in the process of developing that, and the board will be involved in that as well. And then we're in the process of the development of a 21st Century Grant, which is an after-school and summer program, and we're partnering with the Boys and Girls Club, Cherokee Nation Education Department. We're hoping to have a strong emphasis on math and science, and we're going to be working with some of Dr. Morton's folks in the ACES program to make sure that that's a heavy emphasis in what we're doing with the 21st Century Grant. Any questions?
Gina, this quarterback you're talking about, was his last name happen to be Stanley?
That's him, yeah. Little short kid. He's 6'5".
Congratulations to you.
Thank you. It's a feather in our cap because everybody across the state knows where Sequoia is now, and him and Angel are doing a very good job of representing us nationally because they're getting a lot of national attention too.
Keep up the good work, Will.
Thank you.
Look forward to the next time. Okay, no old business, new business. We have one resolution, and I think we have someone who's going to present. Come forward, please.
Okay, hello. This is for the Ross, is that correct? No, that was employment. This is for NAVTEP. We're asking permission to develop and submit a grant application to the Department of Education for conducting a NAVTEP program. It was formerly NAVTEP. The Carl Perkins Act has been reauthorized and they've changed the name. Move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Approved.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Announcements, the next meeting is Tuesday, May the 15th, 11 o'clock. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor say aye. Aye.